All right. So I've been away for a while. In fact, let's see here. The last time I uploaded one of these Frantic Fridays videos was a long time ago. Yeah. Does anybody remember? Uh, 97 days ago. May 16th, 2025. Wow. See, and that's when I started getting sick, right? Like, I had a cold. I had a cold, like just a normal cough, and which developed into like a couple weeks of coughing and just feeling really bad. My nose was runny. I was always blowing my nose. Just everything. It just total, like, usual cold, right? Usual cough due to cold. But it escalated. It was like 10 times worse, right? And it lasted a while. And then I started getting like extra water retention where I didn't want water retention, like just excessive amounts. And then June 18th, I went to my doctor, just a regular checkup that I go like every 3 months, right? It was just a regular checkup. Doctor wasn't there. The assistant was there, and I was telling her all these symptoms and stuff. Like my stomach was bloated, my scrotum was bloated, my legs were bloated, like just massive water retention. Massive, massive water retention. And I was like 187 pounds or something at that point. And she called my doctor, who wasn't there. And then he said, keep him there. I'm on my way. It's like kind of like a Warren Beatty, Dick Tracy type thing, right? I'm on my way. There was that. But anyway, he gets there, right? And he looks over my symptoms and stuff. And he's like, you have heart failure. So right away, I'm like, I told you this whole time, right? Like, he diagnosed me with type 2 diabetes. I'll get to that in a minute. In 2022. And then he's like, no, your heart's fine. You don't need a cardiologist. You don't need this or that. It's just fine. And he kept throwing diabetic medicine at me. And it never worked. It never brought my blood sugars down or anything, no matter what I did. And it's like, I kept telling him, there's something else, something else. Oh, no, no, you're fine. Huh. Well, I proved him wrong. Heart failure. Heart failure, right? So he sends me to the clinic for an EKG and an x ray and tells me to come back the next week for the results, right? So on June 25th, I'm sitting there at home before I go. I'm watching something online, right? Like I'm watching, what was it, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, right? I got into the whole Star Trek thing. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going there, I'm getting results. He's probably going to throw more pills at me and then send me home. So I paused it and went to the clinic. I could barely walk. It took me like almost an hour to walk something that would normally take about 20 minutes. Yeah, that's how bad it got. And I get there and they weigh me. Again, doctor's not there. I'm seeing the assistant. And she weighs me, and I'm 199 pounds. It's like, holy crap, right? So I gained like 10 pounds in a week, and it was all water retention. So, and all those previous spots I mentioned got bigger, and it was harder to walk, right? So she, once again, she gets on the phone with the doctor. The doctor says, send him to the hospital, right? So she puts me in a cab, gives me $20, and says, go to the hospital, emergency. So I go there, and I'm waiting like 11 hours. 11 hours for a bed, right? That's just for a bed. And then once I got the bed, I waited another 8 hours to be put in a room with 3 other people. And it's like, wow, right? So they do a bunch of tests, check my heart, all this stuff. I thought I was just going there to get the water flushed out, and that was it, right? No, no, no. No, no, because let's see here. That was the 25th, 26th, I was in there. 27th, I was in there. And the night of the 27th, I get transferred to another hospital, right? Now, this hospital that I get transferred to has the best cardio team in the entire country, right? All of Canada. This is the best cardio team that they have, right? So I get there, I'm put on medication to flush out the excess water weight and everything. And I think within a week or two, right? Like, so I'm there from June 28th, right? And like a week or two, all of the water retention is gone, and I'm down to like 125 pounds, right? So I lose about 70 pounds in 2 weeks. And then that's going great and everything, right? So they're like, okay, well, we're going to discharge you on July 16th. Now, what happens? What happens? Right? Okay, so let's see here. July 16th was a Wednesday. July 14th, I wake up, or the nurses wake me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, freaking out, because my heart rate was 137, right? And normal heart rate is supposed to be between 60 and 100. But this was 137. I didn't even notice it, right? Because I'm used to my heart going fast, going slow, skipping beats, stuff like that, right? Because I've had a heart condition my whole life. But I was hooked up to their thing, and they were monitoring my heart rate, and they noticed that it was a little higher than it should have been. And they're all freaking out because of it. And then that's when they noticed my arm right here. You can see that, right? I had an IV site put in there so that they could inject the Lasix, which was the medication that was getting rid of the water retention. And they noticed that it was infected, right? So they did tests on it and everything. They moved the site to the other arm, but they did tests and found out that there was a blood clot an inflamed blood clot, and it was moving up into my bloodstream, into my heart, right? So it's like, wow, right? And then later on in the day, I go into shock, right? Like it just felt like I was cold at first, and then I was shivering, and then I was shaking, and it was just uncontrollable. I couldn't stop it. And they're like, nope, 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 nope. You're not leaving here on the 16th. We're keeping you here a little bit longer. Right? So 16th comes around, they wipe off the the discharge day, right? They wipe off the 16th. And then it's like, okay, so they kept me in there for another 2 weeks, almost. And it's like, wow, right? To deal with the infection. And then they discharged me on July 29th, day before my birthday, right? And luckily, Randy came to pick me up and everything. And then we went, took my stuff home. What was it? What did we grab? Grabbed a few things. I don't know. And then we went to my pharmacy and picked up all my medications and stuff. And while we were there, he bought me a blender, right? Because he said that he was going to buy me one for my birthday. And since it was the day before my birthday and we were already there, picked one up. But the one thing I didn't understand is that he buys me a blender, but he doesn't buy me anything to blend. Right? So it's like, it's just sitting there until I get paid, because there's nothing in my apartment that I could throw into a blender and whatever. So anyway, aside from that, I got birthday money from a friend of mine, and I went out and bought stuff and made a milkshake. But aside from that, okay, so I get released. They put a PICC line in my arm, right? I don't know, you can't really see that, but there's a dot there. That's where it was. It went into my arm, and it was a 1 foot tube. It went all the way up just above my heart and just sat there. And it's like, you know, and that is for injections and stuff, right? So that because of the injection sites, right, the IV sites, they did it like 3 or 4 different times, and each time it got infected because of the infection that was in me, right? So they put in a PICC line, which is apparently more secure and everything. And so they leave that in. They left that in when they discharged me, because they sent me to a different hospital, and I was to go there every day to continue getting the injections, right, for the, you know, for the antibiotics that I needed to combat this infection that I had, right? So that was for another 2 weeks there. So I went every day to this other hospital, right? And the stupid thing about that, right? This is another little mini rant thing. When I got discharged, I called assistance, and I told them that I'm going to need a cab to go to and from my appointments every day, right, at this other hospital, right? So on my birthday, that's when it started, and I'm sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. There's no cab. I'm supposed to be at this other hospital at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. shows up, there's still no cab. So I decided to walk, right? Turns out it was only like a half-hour walk. So rather than sitting there waiting for a cab that's not going to show up, I decided to walk back and forth every day, right? So I did that until August 13th. Then they took the PIC line out, which didn't even feel, just there it goes. And it's like perfect, right? Like everything's fine now that I'm out of the hospital. But a lot of people were expecting me to come online as soon as I got out of the hospital and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not going to do that. I am going to do this on my terms, right? So I figured today was a good day to do it, right? Just, I needed time. Right? Just to get over this and find out what's going to happen. Like, I didn't know if I was going to be thrown back into the hospital or what. And, like, depending on how these antibiotic treatments went and everything. But everything's fine. I'm 100%. No water retention, whatever. And now I've got a toy. Well, kind of. You can't see that. Anyway, it's a sensor there. Right there. It's a sensor. It's on my arm for my blood sugars, and I can actually check. I know it's a little bit high right now. At any time, what my blood sugars are, right? 21.3. And what do? Right? Like, remember when I said that I was not going to take insulin and all that because I wasn't sure of myself? It wasn't whatever. Anyway, while I was in the hospital, they taught me how to use the insulin pens properly, showed me how to do it. I did it myself. There's nothing. I don't know why I was so afraid to take it. But anyway, I take these. Take this one, right? I've got 2 pens. This one, 3 times a day. And then this one before I go to sleep. But it all depends on where my blood sugars are, right? So if they're a little bit high, like they are right now, I think they're only high because I just ate. But anyway, right? If they're a little bit high at night, then I take it before I go to sleep, like the nightly one. But if it's within range or lower, I'm supposed to not take it because then it'll drop it way down. Way down. But anyway, that's just everything in a nutshell. If you want to know the full story about everything that happened to me in the hospital, tune in to my podcast on Rumble on Monday. And yeah, I'll show that to you. I'll go through every single thing that happened to me in the hospital, right? In detail or whatever, because they gave me an itinerary of everything that happened and what they did and all that. So I'm going to read that out and put in my little comments and everything, go into like full detail about whatever happened. So that'll be on my podcast on Rumble on Monday. And then Wednesday forward, I'll get back into the true crime stuff on there. But on here, it's still just the Frantic Fridays. But on Sunday, Randy and I are going to a car show. So either Monday or Tuesday, I'll upload the footage from that. And yeah. So like I said before, this This channel on YouTube is just for the Frantic Fridays podcasts and whatever Randy and I do that's like super exciting. And car shows are super exciting, so I'm going to vlog that and put that out there. It's supposed to be the largest car show in Manitoba. So expect to see a lot of cars, whether it's just pictures or videos or a combination of both. It's going to be huge. So, with that being said, I'm going to go, right? And and on Monday, when I do the podcast about the whole hospital thing, I'll put the link to it in the description box of this video, right? So either go on rumble.com, search for Underland 76 and follow me there, or you can wait till Monday, come back to this video, go in the description box and click on the podcast directly. I'll also be sharing it around on my socials, so if you're following me there, you can watch it there on Monday. I'm back. I am back. I'm back doing this full time because I feel so much better now. I know this wasn't that much of a rant, but I just needed to let you know what's been going on, why I've been gone so long and everything. And yeah. As for gaining weight, I don't know. Yesterday I was 118 pounds. This morning I was 120 pounds. We'll see what happens. I mean, if I gain too much weight, that, and there's no water retention, that's pretty good, right? It means that I'm actually gaining fat. But if I notice the water retention coming back, I'm going to have to call the doctor, and I don't know what's going to happen. But we'll see what happens from there. From this point on, we'll see what happens. And thanks for paying attention to me. And thanks for not giving up. And thanks for staying subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button because I'm back. I'm back. I don't know about doing daily vlogs again, but I'll vlog when I know, when I think that it's going to be something important. So expect to see me a little bit more this time around.